I wanted to talk about a little bit more on some of the reactions to what happened. I'm by no means trying to stir up any more of it, and ultimately this is my fault. I'm the one responsible, and the more time that passes, the more I realize that how wrong I was. But a lot of people's outrage or uproar about it was pretty interesting. Maybe you saw this tweet, but it's from Sean Van whatever. We're filing a DMCA takedown of PewDiePie's Firewatch content and any future Campo Santo games. Followed by, there's a bit of leeway you have to have with the internet when you wake up every day and make video games. There's also a breaking point. I'm sick of this child getting more and more chances to make money of what we make. For those of you who don't know, a DMCA claim is basically a copyright strike. It's like a legal action towards your channel. It's a pretty big deal. If I get more than 3 of them, then my channel will shut down. So you could say this is an attack on me, my livelihood. So it seemed more than just grandstanding. This seems more like an attack to me. He also followed with, I urge other developers and will be reaching out to folks much larger than us to cut him off from the content that has made him a millionaire. So basically urging other people to do the same. I don't know. A lot of people aren't really sure about Let's Plays. It's sort of like a gray area in legal terms, because it's not like we own the game. We don't own direct license to it, and I don't think technically we can sell the video with us in it. And there hasn't really been a trial that tests this as well. There hasn't really been a trial that confirms, yes, Let's Plays are protected by fair use. You can't do copyright takedown claims on them. But generally, there hasn't been a case because developers benefit massively from Let's Players or streamers. This is pretty commonly known. Minecraft is a $1 billion title because of streamers, largely because of streamers and YouTubers. Same thing, you know, PUBG. I don't think it probably would not be even nearly as big without streamers. And developers know this. This is pretty commonly known, and that's why, even though, yes, we are making money through your game, it's still seen as something positive. But it is sort of interesting to me, this case in particular, because Sean's game is very much probably the most linear game in question, you know. Out of all games that could have been talked about, you know, it's to me it's really interesting how a game like Firewatch talks about this in a way like this, because Firewatch is an extremely linear game. It's almost like a walking simulator. It's not a bad game, I quite enjoyed it, but arguably, if you play Call of Duty and someone else play Call of Duty, you're gonna get a completely different experience almost no matter what. But if you play Firewatch, you're probably gonna have the exact same experience no matter who plays it. So you could say, okay, well, what's the difference between playing the game yourself rather than just watching someone else play it then? And yeah, no, it's a fair point. And I think especially with Firewatch in mind. Personally, I think either way is wrong. You're bringing in more attention to the game. People generally want to play the games themselves almost no matter what. Even games that are pretty much just story-based, where you click through and read, people want to play themselves. And Firewatch, compared to other walking simulators like The Walking Dead or Life is Strange, doesn't really have choices that leads to different outcomes or different endings. So it is very much on the line. And I think there was some controversy as well with this game in the past, because people refunded the game because it was so short and they didn't like the ending. And people were streaming it, so they were just worried that people were just watching it instead of buying it. So I think it's, you know, out of all people to come out and make a statement like this, I think it's interesting that this is the developer that did it. That's pretty much my point here. Furthermore, we're complicit, and I'm sure we made money off the 5.7 million views that video has, and that's something for us to think about. Now, let's get into the meat of this. A lot of people are saying, I've seen a lot of tweets saying, they're not abusing copyright laws, because Let's Plays aren't fair use. Get over it. I can't say for certainty that it is protected against fair use. but I'm fairly certain, and most legal expert would say the same. There are some arguments against it, but if you watch my video, you know that I'm adding my commentary to it. I'm giving my insight to it. Whoever watches me play it is gonna experience it differently than anyone that plays it themselves. That's just how it is. There was an interesting article about this as well, saying, having seen some of PewDiePie's Firewatch Let's Play video, it definitely would appear to be protected by fair use. The fact that Venoman directly and publicly admits that he's not taking the video down for any valid copyright reason, but rather because he thinks PewDiePie is a propagator of despicable garbage, doesn't help Venoman's case at all. Rather, it gives PewDiePie a lot more leverage to claim that any such takedown would be abusive and possibly even a violation of DMCA's against misrepresentations. I've also seen other legal experts claiming that the video isn't protected by fair use. Let's Plays aren't protected by fair use. No one can really say for certain. That's why it's a gray area. There are other legal experts saying that Let's Plays aren't legal, Firewatch DMCAs are legal, devs can easily destroy YouTube channel, and the law isn't how you want it. Listen here. The thing though that a lot of people pointed out shortly after these tweets were made was that they have a stream policy on their website. This is literally, if you go to firewatchgame.com/about, it says, can I stream this game? Can I make money off of those streams? Yes. We love that people stream and share their experience in the game. You are free to monetize your videos as well. So people pointed this out, but there's still arguments against, saying it doesn't matter because Let's Plays still aren't fair use, so they can do whatever they want. And I would agree, because basically Sean said he will strike down any one of my future Let's Plays and the past one. But the thing is, that doesn't mean he can go back and revoke from the old one. Do you know what I'm saying? Basically, Sean has the right to strike any video that I upload from this point because he's publicly said that that's what he's gonna do. But you can't retroactively go and say, you know what, I'm revoking this license because you are a racist garbage or whatever. That's not how DMCA work. And I'm pretty sure that that form of selection bias is not gonna hold up in court. Imagine if I made some artwork and I told people, hey, you're free to use this artwork. Go ahead, everyone. People start using the artwork, and then I point to some people and I say no and file a copyright law dispute against that. It doesn't really add up, does it? So regardless if Let's Play is fair use or not, this argument of claiming my video is incorrect. Most likely if my video gets striked, I can't really do anything about it. YouTube really doesn't, they're sort of washing their hands around these copyright things. They kind of want to leave out of it. I mean, they've been sued enough, so it sort of makes sense. I imagine if a case like this goes to court, then there's not going to be much leverage for it. If anything, it would be a huge waste of time and money for Sean and his developing team. When I saw these tweets, I immediately privatized the video out of respect for his request, but my video got claimed anyway. It got the strike anyway, which is pretty disappointing, to be honest. As far as I'm concerned, I didn't use any abusive language in this video. I didn't do anything that I think would be considered offensive. This video was uploaded, as far as I know, 2 years ago. And I gotta say, I'm pretty disappointed also in people defending this that I know personally have had problem with DMCA requests, takedown requests as well. Whether you like me or Mr. Venoman, these laws are made for people to take down content. And whenever there's power to do so, it's going to be abused. And especially when the reason to take down the content has nothing to do with copyright, it sort of shows that. I think these laws are important for artists, to protect artists' work and what they do. And that's why I think it's really dangerous to make these sort of claims and to do these sort of copyright claims for no real valid reason, no matter what you think of me. If you have a problem with any content of mine or any video being up, you're free to tweet me. I will probably see it. and I will respect that request. I did get a request from another developer asking the same thing, hey, can you delete this video? And I did, and I wouldn't have any problem to have done the same with this video. I have a huge amount of respect for developers and what they do. I know my work would not have been possible without them, and that's why I would never go against that. I could probably fight this in court and I would probably win, but I decided to just delete the video and not waste everyone's time more about this. Like I said, everything about this was my fault. The whole drama, I'm the one starting it, but I still think it's an interesting discussion to talk about, and I think it's important that we don't abuse these laws because they exist to protect artists, not to make any form of censorship or abusive claims. This video is not meant to attack Sean or his development team or anyone. I just think it's important to talk about these things. Like I said, I thought Firewatch was a really great game, and I wish them all the best in the future with their next title.